everyone, and welcome to BookTrib's 15 Minutes with, a Merrill Moss Media production. Today we are thrilled to welcome New York Times, USA Today, and Amazon bestselling author Rebecca Zanetti. Rebecca writes romantic suspense, dark paranormal, and contemporary romance, and she's the author of a number of series, including the Maverick Montana series, Realm Enforcers, the Scorpius Syndrome series, and a few more that are amazing. Most in particular, her uber popular The Dark Protectors series is a fan favorite, and releasing on October 26th is her latest novella in that series, The 1001 Dark Nights Tricked Novella. Welcome, Rebecca. It's so great to talk to you today.
Hi, thank you. It's so great to be here.
Absolutely. So bring us up to speed a little bit on what's happening with the this Dark Protector novella. And are we meeting new people, familiar faces? What's happening?
We are. What happened when I started the 1001 Dark Nights novellas out a little bit so new readers wouldn't have to go back and read the first 10 books to understand what's going on. Okay. So I branched off with a family. Yeah, 3 brothers, basically. I like brothers, apparently.
Nothing wrong with brothers, right? Yeah. So who in particular is this novella following?
This one is the oldest brother. His name's Jared, and he agrees to mate a very ill human to save her life. It's just an arranged get-together, and then they both plan on going in their separate ways, okay. And that doesn't happen.
Okay. So fans of the Dark Protector series, and we know there are many of them, what can they kind of look forward to in this 1001 Dark Nights novella?
You know, the vampires are uber alpha and male and a little bit funny and a little bit clueless all at the same time, so they'll see that. The heroines are usually really smart and capable, and what will be interesting, I think, for readers is that the heroine in this story starts out very fragile because she's dying and quickly regains her health and then goes after the people who tried to hurt her in the first place, which I think many of us would probably. And she really doesn't need the help of this new vampire who's in her life, or at least she doesn't think she does. And he, of course, thinks she does. So there's a bit of a conflict there.
Right. So was there anything that originally maybe inspired either the series or any of the books, whether it be a TV show or another movie, or did anything kind of kick it off for you, this series?
You know, it was one of the first book is called Fated, and it came out in 2011, and it was one of the first books I'd written. And I was trying to write a book about a U.S. Marshal kind of rescuing a single mom from a bad situation, and it turns out this Marshal kept turning into a vampire, and so I kind of just ran with it, and it created the whole series.
Oh, how interesting. So, that's funny.
That's what happened.
Do you find that happens often, and does it kind of like mix up your plans, or?
A lot of times my plans get mixed up, and I don't plan a lot, so it's pretty easy. I'm usually just as surprised when something happens as the reader is down the line, and okay. I figure that's good. You know, if I'm surprised, they'll probably be surprised.
Okay, interesting. So what about the genre that you started writing in compared to what you're writing now? I know you write, as I said, in a few different genres, so has it changed, or you've just added more but you continue? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, most of my books have a strong thread of suspense in them, no matter what genre it is. I can't help it for some reason. So I like the suspense genre.
Okay.
Even the paranormals are pretty suspenseful. There's good guy, bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's battle. And same with romantic suspense. You know, I don't write much contemporary. It's mainly romantic suspense or dark paranormals right now.
Okay. Is there anything kind of specific about writing that paranormal romance, or even, as you were just saying, the suspense that, like, a lot of people don't realize if they're not writing in that genre, or things that maybe you really have to think of that you wouldn't have to think of in other genres, anything like that?
With the romantic suspense, especially, you need those plot twists. You need those surprises that are out of the blue that you don't see coming. And so you do have to lay groundwork, and you have to give the reader enough that when looking back, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I should have seen it. You never want to, out of the blue, have something that you haven't laid the, M&Ms on the way. It's just not fair. So you do have to stop and think once in a while, wait a minute, did I set this up well enough? And if not, you go, that's why you edit. You go back and add.
Of course. What about for those writers out there watching us now? What do you have to say maybe as far as a piece of advice for the ones who are just starting out? What would be most important for them to kind of take away as they kind of set out on that journey?
I would say to not hold themselves back. We second guess ourselves way too much. And when you're being creative, when you're actually doing something different for yourself and creating something, I think you have to just let it all out there. Worry about editing later, worry about pulling things out later. But if it's in your head, put it on the paper and don't save it. So many people save the good stuff for the next book or the third book. Put it all in the book you're writing right now. And something great will come up for the next book. Yeah. But don't hold back.
So you write a few different genres, as I said. Is your favorite the one that you mentioned before, the suspense? And are you maybe starting to have another as you write more in other areas?
I think most authors, most creative people like to branch out. I like going back and forth because it keeps me entertained and it keeps me from getting bored, which is, hopefully it keeps a reader from getting bored. So yeah, I'm sure I'll branch out. I mean, I'd love to write a middle grade story or series. I just love it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'll branch out.
That sounds great. So what about reading? Because sometimes our preferences reading and writing are different. Do you have a specific genre that you love to read in, and does it happen to be different than your writing genre?
Well, I read everything I can get my hands on. So I honestly read everything from middle grade to young adult to erotica to romantic suspense and paranormal. I do read in the same genres I write. I'm not one of those people who won't do that. I read historical. But that's not one of my interests, so that's probably why. I read law journals. I mean, I like to read legal cases even, so I like to read.
Wow, okay. What about for you, maybe out of all of your series, if you can, or maybe it's too hard to choose, but do you have a favorite so far of your series?
Not really, because I go back and forth so much between the series. It's like I've never really let one go.
Okay.
So I can't look back with nostalgia yet. Right now, whatever book I'm working on is usually my least favorite.
Okay,
and whatever book I just finished is my favorite.
Absolutely. So where do you see the Dark Protector series going? Should the reader be in for the long haul? Are you starting to wrap it up? Is there so much more to come? How do you see that happening?
Well, the first series did wrap up. I mean, the good guys won, the bad guys lost. Right. And so then we've done a spinoff. We're doing spinoffs with the 1001 Dark Knights gang, and then also the Realm Enforcers are witches on bikes. Oh. And we're in discussions now to go back and do a new series and call it something like the Dark Protectors, the Originals, which sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm looking at that and figuring out how to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, fans of that would be thrilled with that news. Do you ever...
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever kind of worry that either you're getting to the end of something that you'd like to keep going, or maybe there's something you're thinking, oh, it's going to end in a couple of books, but I've got to keep this story going. How does ending the series work for you?
I kind of know when a series is going to end many books ahead. Like with the Dark Protectors, there are 7 full novels and 3 novellas within that first series. And I knew in book 2 when it was going to end. I could have kept going with it. And there's a temptation there because the books are selling, you're building a good fan base. But there was a time it just end. You know, I don't think you should keep writing to writing. I think it's about the story. And so it's very natural. What was hard, though, is I was writing 3 series, and I ended them all around the same time.
Oh, no.
And so I'm sure I timed that right, because all of a sudden I had all these endings, and I was like, oh, no, I have to go start all the new things. And so we ended up doing spinoffs, which, you know, that worked.
Helps a little, yeah.
I don't think I'd end 3 series at the same time again. Fans weren't, you know, what are you doing? Are you going back to work? You know, I was a lawyer before.
Okay.
So no, I'm not going back to being a lawyer.
So what can you tell us right now maybe about what you're working on? Of course, we know that Tricked is coming out. But what's on deck for you in 2016 and 2017? What are you working on next?
I'm working on the Blood Brothers series, which is a spinoff of the Sim Brothers series. And so it's called Deadly Silence, and the next one comes out in April. So I'm in edits right now for that one.
Okay.
And then with the Scorpio Syndrome series, the next book comes out in January. And so I'm right in the middle of, you know, page proofs for that one too. So
excellent.
That's what I'm working. I have a lot of releases next year, so it's going to be a busy year.
That's
which is
exciting.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. What about places that fans can come out and meet you? Do you have any traveling on deck for any of that?
I do. I leave tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. for Orlando for Shameless.
Oh, boy.
And then I'll be at Coastal Magic. Yeah, I know. It's going to be early. Coastal Magic in February. I'll be at RT and RWA and ApollyCon, and also Thriller Fest this year.
Excellent.
Next year.
That's so great. Well, I'm sure fans will so look forward to all of that. And we do too, of course. So what do you have to say kind of as a final thought to the fans out there who read your books, who just fall in love with your series? Maybe just what to look forward to next, or anything that you want to say to them?
Well, first, thank you for reading. You know, thanks for reading the books, and for the emails. They're always a lot of fun. I enjoy getting those fan emails. Sign up for my newsletter. Come play on Facebook. You know, we update everything. I hope people get out and we could see, you know, I could see people at all the conferences. I'm trying to spread it out a little, though I'm in Florida a lot coming up, seems like. And just I appreciate it, you know, enjoy the books. I hope people enjoy the books.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, October 26th, is that correct? Is the release for Tricked. So go out, pre-order it, order it. Whenever you're watching this, if it's, you know, later in the year and it's already out, go grab it because you're missing out. But thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And it's been a blast. Unfortunately, our time is up, but thank you again for chatting with us.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Bye, everyone.